almost ready to start the recording, and let's get it done. Good evening to everyone. I want to welcome you to the King's Table, and thank you for taking time to come out today. It's going to be a great session, and let's get it started. This is the 249th session of the King's Table. It's a safe and sacred space where the kings and the fellas come together to talk and share openly and feel comfortable doing just that. It's a place to gain insight, find some answers, and receive guidance on the next step concerning life. We practice anonymity here. Simply put, that means bearing no names. You can talk about yourself. You don't have to talk about me or anyone else. We want to welcome the presence of God, our source, our creator, into this space so that we may be able to share, to receive, and to gain understanding and more from this divine exchange amongst the brethren. We can no more do without spirituality than we can do without food, shelter, or clothing. And here at the King's Table, we ask that you keep it on yourself when you begin to share. Keep it on yourself allows you to examine you and not really examine everyone else, so to say. It's a space for those who desire to become the best version of themselves. We ask that you be honest and open-minded when sharing the space. Please limit your sharing to 2 minutes to respect the group and allow everyone to get a chance to share. We are not here to judge anyone, only here to listen with an open mind and to help if we can by identifying and sharing our experience, our strength, and our hope. We do ask that you make a contribution to keep this community going. Nothing is free, so it costs to keep the platform moving. The information will be at the bottom of the text, or I'll put it on the screen at some point tonight. If you care to join me, we're going to have a moment of silence and we'll do the serenity prayer. God, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change and the courage to change the things I can and the wisdom to know the difference. Welcome to each of you that came on tonight. Appreciate it. I see someone new. Welcome, Clifford. Thanks for joining us. And James and Al, I'm not sure if you're on 2 times or there's another Albert on, but welcome. And we're going to get started. I'm going to do a quick opener and then we'll get started with the topics right away. So
again, that was me, Rob.
Okay.
My wife hooked my picture up on the phone, but I still got you on the laptop. That don't work.
Okay, no worries. So here we go. We want to welcome you again to the King's Table. This is not a place for performance, so that's not necessary. This is not a place for pretending. This is a place for truth, reflection, and remembering just who you are. Black History Month reminds us that we did not survive by accident. We are here because men before us thought differently, stood firmly, and refused to surrender their minds, even when everything around them said they should. Tonight, we pause, we begin to look inward, and as we do that, we'll find my place as I was just sharing here. If you have your mic open, muted until we open the floor for you, please. We look forward to examine our thoughts, our choices, and our direction, because a king who does not examine his mind will unconsciously repeat what was handed to him. But a king who becomes aware can change his life, his bloodline, and his future. So take a deep breath. Leave the armor at the door. Come fully present right here at the table now. And so you are, and we say ashe and welcome. So how you guys feeling? Everybody good out there? Give me a hands up, thumbs up, or something like that so I know you're good. All right. So I'm getting a lot of people jumping in, or I'm trying to catch them and get back to the question. So we're going to get right into the the questions tonight that I got during the week, and I was having this thing about thought and awareness. So I'm going to pose this question to you right here. And the way this works for anyone new is we'll put a topic on the table. If you want to share, you could just raise your hands, show an emoji, or say, I want to speak. And we'll acknowledge you so that you can get a chance to share. The topic that I first came up with was thought and awareness. Do you believe you actually think for yourself? Or are you mostly operating from inherited beliefs, culture programming, old wounds replaying themselves, or unexamined thoughts? Let me give it to you again. Do you believe that you actually think for your own self, or are you mostly operating from inherited beliefs, cultural programming, old wounds replaying themselves, or unexamined thoughts? Anybody want to jump on that right away as far as thoughts and awareness of thought? Anybody want to jump in?
I'll go. Hey.
I'm not sure. Oh, come on, Gracia. Come on.
Yeah. So yeah, I actually a fresh thought because I kind of shared something similar with another group. I have a Bible study group, and it was just like a self-examination, and they were talking about like limiting beliefs. And I had just got off. I was talking to like a counselor, and I kind of gave him a rundown on how I was able to kind of hack my productivity, using AI and so on and so forth. And gave him the breakdown, and he's like, "Wow, that's like genius level stuff, man. That's amazing. That's great." And I'm like, "All right, cool, no problem." And he goes, "Why do you do that?" I was like, "Do what?" He's like, "Why do you downplay yourself?" And I didn't know at the moment, but something kind of led me to kind of hold on to a thought. And the reason why I do that or I've done that was, everybody has like some trauma, some father wound, something of that nature. And for me, it was, always being like top student, always performing and doing well. But, I'd get a 95, 93, top of the class, whatever. But then my mom would praise the A, and my father, I'd show him come up with the 93, 95. He goes, "Where's the rest?" So I was like, "What?" I mean, I got the highest grade in the class. Come on, what's the big deal? So this was consistent. So up till now, it's like I become like some type of perfectionist, like, and it impacts me because if it's not perfect, I don't do it, and it's like just like a endless cycle. It's got to be perfect. Because it's got to be perfect, I procrastinate. I find ways to kind of whatever, and it's never good enough. So ever since then, it's like, you know what? Just do it. Um, and I come to realize that I become like my own worst critic. Like I'm so critical of myself that it it transfers to other people. Like I've set such a high standard for myself that I've set a high standard for people. I become in a way judgmental or super critical, and I'm criticizing myself at the same time I'm criticizing other people and being really hard on myself. And I just came to that realization just a few days ago. And just with the intentionality, where you understand that you're doing that, the focus for me is to not do that. If you have an idea, just go for it, just do it. It doesn't have to be perfect. You don't have to criticize yourself. You don't have to, be like, all right, well, take one, take two, take three. It's got to be perfect. They say sometimes just doing it is good enough. And but that's part of the whole thinking for yourself. You kind of hold on to just just those hurts, those little hurts that you mentioned, and those kind of guide you or lead you in your like thought process. Like I said, being overly critical, like myself. So yeah.
All right. Thank you for sharing that. So anyone else, we're talking about, do you believe you actually think for yourself, or are you mostly operating from inherited beliefs, cultural programming, old wounds replaying themselves, or unexamined thoughts? You know, uh, come on, Professor.
Good evening, all.
Good
Hey,
evening.
I can truly say that as I find myself over the decades, that all of those applied to me. Old wounds, old way of thinking from my ancestors and relatives and the like. What has been fostered upon us by the news media, how it seeps in, different crowds that we are in, and trying not to step on toes and hurt people's feelings. And so you couch things in different languages. And of course, ultimately, I like to think that I think for myself, but truly at the end of the day, not so. It's like every time you come across new information in different situation, or at least I have to edit and revise certain things. Just to give you a for instance, one of the big stories on the news today is that the guy with the orange hair and the orange painted face put out this video yesterday depicting President Obama and Michelle Obama as apes. Now, mind you, if you go back and Google it, it's nothing new. They did that when they were running against him some years ago. But of course, we always want our enemies to show how they really feel, so that when they feel our wrath and God's wrath, we take no pity upon them. The other thing, lastly, is that I was at a conference for Black History Month, and something I did not know. It's about the USAID program, whereby that this country over the decades was providing money and funding to these so-called undeveloped countries, etc. And that one of the speakers pointed out that that program actually was started by Black folks, and then this country's government snatched it and painted it as its own. So once again, while I have been very upset with a lot of people with this administration stopping the funding of the USAID program, it made me even sadder to know that Black folks started that, and this country snatched it as its own. So there you go. As we get new information, we should revise our thinking, but we cannot get away from the old way of thinking because we were brought up a certain way, all of us. So that's what I have to say about that.
All right, thank you. So again, anyone else may want to join on the topic about, do you think for yourself? And of course, or are you operating from inherited beliefs, cultural programming, old wounds playing themselves, or unexamined thoughts? So I'll jump in for a moment. When I heard Gracia and of course Sam speaking about it, because I don't answer the questions when I come up with them, I don't really get into answering them or trying to be ready so it's all perfect. Because I used to do that too, Gracia. Everything had to be just right. Everything would need to be perfect. But I'm looking at this and what Sam just said. There are many times that things are trying to replay themselves, which would, initiate the thought or the action or how I would do something. I've gotten a lot better because I do take an inventory of myself consistently. That's mainly for me, and it is good for other people if I take my inventory so I can keep myself in check. And it's like the more they were speaking, the more it made me have to really analyze even deeper. Am I thinking or operating from an old wound? You know, an old wound. And when you start talking about Black history or the U.S., I don't get it. I won't watch too many movies if it's too Black and they do it, start beating on them and doing all that, because it brings up something in me, and I'm like, I don't need to walk down the street and want to just take a hammer and start banging people. You know, that's some heavy stuff. Because I watched The Butler and got ready to get up, and I was just like, I was full from all that they did to our people, and I'm like, dang. So I was with this young lady, and we had watched The Butler. So we, I got ready to get up. Well, I'm on a whole next place. I'm sensitive in a lot of ways, and I just started like bawling, and she just. But I was glad I was with a woman who just took her hand and put on my leg and was like, "It's all right." I was like, "This is some crazy stuff." When I watch what they do to have done to our people, and then I wonder why. Where are the freedom fighters or the gangsters? Because I know we got some that they'll yell at us on the block real quick. But like, why don't we come together and be the great that we are? I think it's happening. I don't know if it's really all about this question, but it does still go into playing an old wound, like you said, because of who we are. I do believe that I can operate, and I do operate better because of my awareness. So as I take my inventory, I do think my own thoughts, because I'm not going to let you control me. This is my mind, and I'm the only one that thinks from here. And so, as I'm aware of that, awareness is important for me, and it allows me to be more intentional with my thought. Or I may just need to be quiet and be still until I'm ready to operate from my own thought or belief that I've come up with. So, like you said, you are all of those things I named, from programming old wounds and or unexamined thoughts. So I work to examine and not live a replayed life. I want to be new. So that's what I keep doing on a daily basis. That's it.
Hey, Rob.
Hey, Al.
Okay, I'm sorry. I'm on the laptop. It says Albert, and then I'm on the phone. It says Albert or Pray. I just want to say that I'm finally, maybe the last 2 decades, beginning to think instead of react to situations. I'll give you an example. Like 47, I asked God to bless him and change me. And the reason why I say that, the old me would want to destroy him. But that's not my place. That's not my fight. That's God's fight. And it's going to work out. And I'm a total believer in that. The other thing is that I got to forgive myself. But keep going back to old wounds that do me no service. Make me relive the past. I don't want to do that. Got to move forward. Today's a brand new day. Why am I looking back? I want to experience things that I never did before. So thank you for letting me share that.
All right. Thank you, Al. Anybody else? If not, we will transition to
Yeah,
another
yeah.
topic.
I put my toes in the water. Good evening, everyone.
All right,
Good
Jerry.
evening.
Come on.
Thoughts and awareness, to me, actually comes from sitting on the knees of two women, your mother or your grandmother. Dad was out working, doing what he could do,
Mm.
because they observe what's going on in your community and in your home and your church that flows to your young ears, that make you a better man than you are today, that curbs your beliefs that you have inherited, that can heal any wounds that you and your young mind, where they can sit back and talk to you and make you a better man that you are today.
Yes, sir. Thank you for that, Jerry. the knees of the ladies, mother and grandmother. Anybody else on this one? Cardell, are you leaning in to talk or no? I saw you. I touch the phone. I just unmuted you.
Okay, well, since I believe in you caught me. I can say that, when it comes to, I can't remember the whole question you asked.
I'll tell you real quick so you can get it. Do you
Okay.
believe you actually think for yourself, or are you mostly operating from inherited beliefs, cultural programming, old wounds replaying themselves, or unexamined thoughts?
Okay, like the gentleman said a while ago, I'm a part, basically, and to be honest with you, I'm a part of all of it because at my age right now, I do everything I can to think for myself. But when a situation comes up, I might wonder, or sometimes I say, 20 years ago, I would have done this or I would have done that. And y'all better be glad I ain't like that no more. Something like you were saying earlier, when it comes to marches, riots, or anything physical that needs to be done with me and my boys, my friends, we might try to do it. But now that I'm older and can't run no more, if I do, I'm gonna fall down. But I just try to think for myself. And back, it was some years ago where I found myself thinking, letting other people think for me, or a follower, if you will. And it got me in a lot of places that I didn't want to be, being a follower. And I always tell y'all, only way I'm gonna forget some of the things I did, I'm gonna have to have Alzheimer's because because I'm just being real. I can't forget. I don't live in it, but I can't forget a lot of things that I've done to myself, a lot of things that others done to me. But I don't live in it. But I haven't forgotten it, and I never will. But I can say that I do think for myself. But I am gonna be honest and tell you that I'm a part mostly of all of what you just said.
Thank you for that. So we'll segue into self-examination. How often, if at all, do you take a moral inventory of yourself? Moral meaning good, bad, you examine yourself. And what does this process look like for you? And what have you gained from practicing it? That's if you practice it. Go ahead on, Garcia. You ready to help?
Too much. Too much. Like I said, I'm always in my head, always replaying things. Like, how could I have done this better? If I did something, if I reacted a particular way, if I had a conversation, I'm like replaying it, like, damn, I could have said it like this, I could have did it like this. Or if something that, is questionable, sometimes sometimes you find yourself in like desperation mode, or you're thinking, trying to think a shortcut, and you stop yourself. It's like, I shouldn't do this. I shouldn't, I shouldn't do this because, if I do this, this is what's going to come with it. So it's just like constant dialogue for me. Um, just constant, and tied in with the constant being judgmental. It's like, narrate. It's like got a narrator. It's like Morgan Freeman's in my head, kind of all the time. But no, that is constant. I feel it's good though. For the most part, it is great to be able to do that.
You ain't wrong.
Some degree, not to overdo it, but it's like, I don't know. It's like, some people have that conscience. The devil, the angel, and the devil on their shoulders. And to be able to, I guess, actually speak that means that you actually have some form of like, I don't know, moral. I think I'm losing myself, but for the most part, it's constant for me.
Awesome. That's what's up. It is a work, a continual work or monitoring. So that's all good.
Yes.
So we
You
are
got what to work.
the question on the table right now is how often, if at all, do you take a moral inventory of yourself? And what does it look like for you? And what have you gained from it? Anybody else want to talk about taking a moral inventory on themselves? Come on, James.
Yeah, I'd like to say something.
Who is that? I
This
can't.
is Clifford.
Okay, Cliff, come on.
Yeah, it's definitely like a constant to review and examine the things you do, especially if you're a person, because I've heard a couple of people talk here about having regret in certain things they've done in their lives, and certain things can make you feel very critical about everything you do moving forward because of regret of past behavior. Um, I'm definitely one of those people who look back and have a lot of cringy moments due to things that I've done prior. You be in the shower, you be driving, and you're just thinking of some foolishness that you got into at an earlier time in your life, or things that you wish you handled better. And when you get a little bit more discernment and more wisdom, you just can be a little bit more aware of everything you do moving forward. Um, and I think that's just what comes with growth and experience. You should be able to look at the things that you do with a bit more, just awareness, and not handle things with the same excitement or the same lack of uh, of knowing, because you lived life, you experienced things. You should definitely know. Well, I've had enough uh, moments and things that have occurred for me to know that now I want to handle things with a little bit more thought and be a bit more deliberate. So, yeah, I've had my share of mistakes, and you just want to grow up and you never be perfect, but just hope that you make less mistakes as you continue on in life.
I got something to say, Rob.
Okay, 1 second. Thank you for that, Clifford. Before you speak, Al, we had somebody, they both started at the same time. I think it was James, and then we'll come to you because they have both.
Okay, no problem.
All right.
Can you just repeat the question again, Rob?
Okay, so we were asking the question here, self-examination. How often, if at all, do you take a moral inventory of yourself? And what does it look like to you? And the other is, what have you gained from actually practicing a self-inventory?
So I think someone else said, but all the time, and I try to be always aware of my actions and my thoughts at all times. And I think that relates back to the first question, where how I react in the moment, how I'm responding, how I'm thinking I should act. That all comes to my history and family history of just life experience, and just trying to be aware of your actions at all times. So yeah.
All right, thank you for that. Yeah, so self-examination. Anybody else want to speak on that? I'll
Every hour of every day.
Yeah, I got something to
It
say,
really
Rob.
works.
Yes, sir. Come on, Al.
Yeah. My thing is I take an inventory of myself spiritually every day, most of the time, all day. I be trying to look and see where God has worked in my life and I didn't know.
Okay.
Even the prayers I never prayed, God took care of those. And Cornell said something that hit me to the heart. And that was a problem for me. I'm older now, 76, going on 77. I'm right behind Professor Sam.
You want us to know
And
that?
I can't run. I'm on crutches. I had two young boys try to rob me. They think I didn't know they were watching me. You know what happened? The old me came out. Took my 007 after they tried to pin me up on my car when I was getting in, stabbed the boy in the butt as he was running. I said to him, he don't even know I invented robbery, trying to hit me because I'm on crutches and driving an expensive car. So I stopped wearing a lot of jewelry. I love jewelry. You know that. I can't wear it no more. People think they could take advantage of me. I want to say this, and it made me cry. My youngest son came over a couple of days after my birthday. You know what he gave me for a present? He gave me a Rolex. I started crying. I said, son, I love you. You gotta leave for a minute. Give me a few minutes. He said, Dad, I love you. And he's my best friend out of all my sons. You know, I talk to him as a dad most of the time, but sometimes I talk to him as a friend to a friend. I would never be a friend to a young kid that's my son or daughter, because sometimes you just can't. You know, you got to mold them from one. You know, it always puzzled me. I always wonder why white people will hire our parents to take care of their kids from the age of maybe a month to 5 years old, and then they don't want their kids around black people no more. But from 1 to 5 is how you learn all your behaviors. You know, and what bothered me was, you know, people, my people watching their kids, but who watching theirs? You know, that's why I was such a rebel in high school and I never finished. They sent me to all white school. I had to have police escort, all the black people going and coming. I got tired. I said, man, I ain't putting up with that. But you know what? I thank God that I lived through it. I don't look at life no more as all my mistakes. I look at them as a lesson, because all those lessons prepared me for whatever success I'm going to get in the future. Thank you.
All right, thank you for sharing. So we're talking about self-examination and how often do we take more inventories, what the process looks like, and what have we gained from it. So I'll take a moment and talk about, like I said, in the first question, I actually take an inventory on a regular. I heard you, Sam, not just once a day or once a week. I had to do it consistently throughout the day. I'll check myself, like, you know, I think even Gracia said it, how I acted in a situation, how I spoke to someone. I check my tone on a regular basis. Or when in days going by, when I would get news, sometimes I could feel it like it hit me in the gut. And I'm like, why did I let something shake me almost? Like I felt it. And I'm in another place where I don't let it rattle me like that. But again, that's with maturing and becoming wiser and realizing who I am in the divine. And so when I walk in that security that there's a power greater than me, greater than you, that takes care of me, then it gets rid of all that punch in the stomach or gut. And I don't think something Clifford said. When I look back, yeah, I don't cringe too much. There might be a few things I might not want to look at, but I don't cringe like I used to. I could totally identify looking back and think about something that I did. I think about.
Yeah, nah, I'll be cringing.
I look back and I'm thinking, well, I'm so glad that I didn't. You know that story I told you when I shanked him. I'm like, oh, thank God he ain't dead. So I don't have to really cringe. But now it's about being a better version of me. However I got to do it, and that's for me. It's not for anybody but me. So the more I work on me and master me, everything gets better. And it's not so bad. I don't mind practicing discipline. And again, that goes back to kind of like that perfecting thing. I want to perfect it more. And some days I'm really good, and then something will fall on the floor. And I might have to give it a lashing because I dropped it on the floor. And so then I bring it back. And I was talking to Caleb today, and I went out for the last couple of days. I don't know what they're doing in New York. The traffic has just been like completely crazy, like hella crazy. And I found myself more relaxed than ever before, Sam. I had some good music on. I said, I better put the massager on, the seat on, and just really breathe through it. But I did have to get at 1 or 2. And then I brought it back down and counted from 5, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. bring it down, and I was able again to laugh at myself for ready to get at them. I don't have to. So I'm not gonna let nobody, run up on the car. So I put the brake on when they want to try and wild out, let them go on in front, and they'll meet their demise in due time. So it is well. But inventories, it will really help you to have a better experience if you choose it. I know it works for me. Thanks for letting me share that. All right. Anyone else want to talk about their self-examination? If not, I am ready to move to another question or topic. So let's go right into divine power, since I mentioned that word. Divine power. Do you have any sense of the true divine power that each of you possess? Or are you still unsure of what lies within you? And if you believe you do possess power, how do you use it? But if you're not sure, what do you think's keeping you from being aware of that power? Was that clear? Or do I need to hit it? Okay, cool. Let's talk about it. Your divine power or not?
I'll start again. Every day, it is apparent to me, and I say this with all honesty and so forth, that I realize that one of my divine powers is projecting, emanating from me, a sense of goodness, a sense of goodness. And I must thank my students for bringing that out of me, so that when I speak to students, I look them in the face. When I ask them how they're doing, same thing. And even when I chastise them, I look at them so that they, for the most part, will feel a sense of shame. Mr. Presley's talking, y'all be quiet. Things like that. Now I must tell you, being a Leo, I'm also able to project the people that I can rip out their windpipe if they piss me off the wrong way. It's sort of like some places I go, people will literally part to let me through as if it's the Red Sea. And then when I look at certain people, I have these eyes, I must tell you, that oftentimes I hide them behind dark glasses or I put on my eyeglasses because I have looked at myself in the mirror, y'all. And I must tell you, what I see is that someone you don't want to tread on, because this might be your last day on this earth. But like I'm able to do it all. But once again, it came with age, Sir Albert. It came with age. It came with age, Master Rob, in a sense that I took stock of myself and I said, wow, I have that. But once again, I don't abuse it. I don't abuse it. Lastly, it's sort of like in one of my classes today, the students were acting like fools. I read them the riot act, and at the same time, I calmed myself down to a certain quietness, and I could tell by their behavior that I had gotten through to them and I didn't have to say anything else.
That's
you.
good.
Thank you.
That's good.
Do you have a sense of your true divine power that you possess, or are you still unsure? Let's talk about if you do believe you have it, how you use it, but if you don't have it, what's blocking it? Anybody else want to jump in on the conversation?
Yeah, Rob.
Come on.
I know I have it. I'll tell you why.
Why?
Because the terror that I was as a young man, and I go through that neighborhood now, I had an enemy come up to me and shake my hand. And I said, I thought we was gonna fight or something. He said, man, you're on crutches and I'm on a cane. We're gonna look like fighting. He said, I know you 60-something years. And he said, I've been watching you. And he said, you have changed. And you know what I told him? I'm the first Bible that you recognize. People see the change in me and they don't realize I'm the first Bible that they see. Because if you confess and start to believe, God will change you. The old you will go and the new you will come in. And that's where I'm at. Thank you.
All right. Appreciate that. Anyone else on some divine power? I'll fill a space if nobody's ready. So divine power, I operate in it on a regular. I've learned the art of, what is it? The art of working with the law or divine law. Either you work it or you work by it. So it's a lot goes with my belief system, but then I go from believing to knowing because of the experience or the many experiences I've had in life. So I have, after I do my inventory or rather do my quiet time or meditation, prayer time in the morning, I set forth the atmosphere of the day from the beginning. It is important for me and for anybody I'm gonna come in contact with that I get the Leo that you talked about, Professor. I get him in the right position so he's calm and not tripping. So as I'm moving throughout the day or starting the day, and when I leave out the house, I've already set forth that when I walk out, wherever I go, the people, it will be favorable. God's favor is on me. So it's got to be that way. I could walk into, I went to the store the other day, have to have all the cameras. Like, if you park here, we're going to tow your car. So I'm thinking, ain't no parks around here. I need this parking space. So what better to do than to go and ask somebody, if I leave my car here, what's the possibilities? So I met the man that everybody was pointing to, and I was like, this is a situation. You didn't have what I needed when I came in, but I want to make another run. And he was like, well, where's the car at? And I showed it to him, and he was like, well, you can leave me the keys and I'll make a run. But it was a joke. But the bottom line was, because I went and asked him, he was willing to watch it and make sure my car was safe. And it's a favor. It may seem trivial to you, but if you walk in this, somebody said, walk in and always exude good, that's the universe will give it back to you 1,000 times over. So I work to create an avalanche of good thing, great things happening, versus me walking around sowing bad seeds and then having to reap those, because I don't want them to call my name. And I might try to say, that's not my child. But your child will call your name. So I work not to sow bad seeds. And you mentioned something about the eyes. I told you, I said before, I took an inventory, and after that, before we get to the making amends, it was like, the question was like, well, what have you done to people? What was your part in the story? And I was like, oh, I didn't hurt nobody. They all hated on me. That was, the world hated on me. And then when you get honest, when I got honest, I had to realize the part that I play, because there's always a part that I play in every situation. And so looking at that, I could just look at you and see you dead. The wrath was already there, just in my eyes, like, destroy him, them. And then I realized I used to look at a lot of people like that. I mean, I might not bring the fight, but that was it. I didn't have to. Like you said, you could look at someone and you can cause them to change because of the energy that you can send out through your eyes. So I work not to do that. And I know I have a higher power. I have a greater self, God, Yahuwah, Yahweh, whatever you choose to call it. But when I go out, when I get to a location, no matter where it is, there will be a park waiting for me. And it always happens. Caleb, don't you know? If you ride out with me, we're going to get a parking space and I'm not walking 10 blocks. What's the point in driving if I got to walk that far? But I trust that. And so the same energy it takes to get that situation, the small things, you can have the big things too. So I work that in all my affairs, even when it seems like it's not jumping off the way I wanted to. But if I stay steadfast in the state of it is already done and live from there, and what does it feel like to be sitting on top of the world? But if you can't get to that feeling, you'll never know because you're going to wish you could get there. But as I sit there and embody it, the universe says, okay, we'll let him have it. So that's where I'm at. The
Into
divine
my
power works for me. It works for me. All right. Anybody else want to jump in on their divine power? If not,
You
no.
you said something. I'm like, oh yeah, that's a divine power. Okay, cool. That's. I guess I share something similar. Um, just being able to connect with people, um, to speak with people kind of on their level, I believe. Um, and not being confrontational or just trying to make sense of things where people otherwise, would like look at it differently. But you brought up a similar situation involving like a cop, driving in Manhattan, and it's like why drive in Manhattan? You can't park anywhere, you can't do anything, and I got to deliver something, and I see a spot, I pull in there, and literally I see the ticket agent, and I'm like, goodness. So I just pulled up, thinking like I'm gonna run across. Said you can't stay right here. You got to move the car. I was like, all right, and so then I'm like, yeah, I get it, but this is Manhattan, and I'm a delivery person, and where do you park? And I'm like, kind of asking them, so help me. I go like, yo, help me find a solution. Help me figure out where to park, because if I gotta park 5 blocks down, this really doesn't make no sense. So he's like, all right, go ahead. I'll give you 5 minutes. Same thing happened yesterday. I pulled up and the ticket agent, he's about to think a ticket. I said, hey, I'm just going right upstairs. He said, you can't park there. Like, I get it, but there's nowhere else to park. I'll be back in 5 minutes. And he just let me go. So just being able, I guess, talk to people and not, go from 0 to 100 and get people to kind of see things your way and like make sense of this. So stuff like that. So
Thanks for sharing. Yeah. All right. Anybody else want some divine power experience or not? If not,
I want to add this.
Come on.
There is a word, it's called, and we usually associate the word with athletes and entertainers. The word is magnetism.
Yeah.
Magnetism. And if you go deeper into it, there's a certain mentioning of it in religious circles, whereby, as you know, Master Rob, that the universe is one huge electrical magnetic system. I don't want to go deeper in that, but if you get an opportunity, even now, the word is magnetism.
Thank you for sharing that. All right. So I could go on with that too, Professor, but we'll do it another time. But like attracts like. Old school will tell you that. They'll tell you, show me your friends. Birds of a feather do what? Anybody knows?
Locked
Birds
together.
flock together. So they were like say, let me see your people that you hang out with. And they'll be like, I know who you are because they could tell by your associations because like attracts like. So segue into the next question that came up was choice in the midst of pressure. Hear me now. When life is lifing, feel me? When life is lifing, are you able to think another thought to shift the situation toward a better outcome? Have you
Of
ever
course.
witnessed your thinking change the direction of a moment? What usually determines whether you rise or react? So the question is, when life is lifing, no matter what the situation is, are you able to think another thought to shift your situation toward a better outcome?
Yes.
Of course.
Come on.
I would like to say that in this life, I have been in several situations that seem uncanny or seem uh, well to a point where I didn't have any say so or where I was afraid to talk. That's very unusual when that comes that way. For instance, I was pulled over by the police one night and he came to my car. I had some gentlemen in the car with me. And he says to me, "Sir, will you get out the car and come to the police car?" I said, "Okay." I sat in the police car and I watched him search everybody that was in my car. To make a long story short, he comes back to the car and sits in the car with me and looks at me and says, "Mr. Boyd, whose small bag of cocaine was that I found on the seat of your car?" I looked at him and I said, "Sir, what?" So he says, "I'm not trying to get you excited. I just want to know whose small bag of cocaine that I found on the seat of your car." I didn't look at him, man. I reached over him and held my hand out and I snapped my finger like this. I said, "Officer, you may as well give me my license back because you ain't found no cocaine on the front seat of that car." Guess what he did? "Oh, I was just kidding you." Gave him my license back, and I looked at him eye to eye, opened the door. I didn't blink an eye. I kept looking at him as I opened the door and got out. I didn't blink an eye. But see, and my friends didn't believe it. I said, he tried to trap me. He must have had some already in his pocket because nobody in my car had any. And I know he didn't find it on the front seat of that car when I got out because they won't like that. But I'm just saying, under these kind of pressures, when you run across racism, or somebody that's trying to bully you mentally, or, "Oh, it ain't mine. It must be the guy sitting beside me." I didn't go there. I said, "Officer, like this, you may as well give me my license back because you ain't found no cocaine on the front seat of that car." And all he could tell me was, "I was just kidding you." But he won't kidding me. He was trying to start something. And I didn't play into it. Not one drop.
You were able to think that thought to change the situation.
Yes, sir.
Thank you for sharing. Anybody else? When life is lifing, are you able to think another thought?
Again, I say, those of us who are in the marriage or whatever, we have learned, haven't we, Sir Albert, that the worst thing that you can do when you get into a so-called argument with your wife, there you go, there's a Freudian slip. I meant to say wife and I said life. A happy, what is that? A happy wife is a happy life. And as I've shared with you all from time to time, in my early days, I used to argue with my wife. Oh my God, this, that, whatever. But I learned, as Sir Albert knows, that I find something that she's saying that I will agree with. And then I become quiet. And an amazing thing takes place. When I agree with at least one thing that she says, and when I am quiet, she becomes quiet, and then she becomes almost apologetic in trying to argue with me. I'm just saying that's what I've learned, and I'm glad and thankful that I've learned the art of shutting up.
You know what? You said it all, Professor Sam. You know I know. I
Yeah.
want to say, Rob, that when life is life, and I try to think about what my God would do in certain situations. And the reason why I have to do that, because if I don't, the old gangster in me want to come out, and I can't do a damn thing. I can't even rob nobody. How am I run? Yo, and it take me 5 minutes to get in the damn car door. And if the car's low, it's 15 minutes. So I'm learning it took me a while to accept that I was older, because I still act like I'm in my 20s. And somebody said to me, one of my sponsees, he said to me, Albert, you in your 60s, you can only do half as much as a 20-year-old. Pissed me off. But he was right. Can only do half as much, But I thank God for, I'm going to say this to you. Somebody sent me a prayer. I'm going to try to memorize it, which I can, but I'm going to say it the best I can. The prayer said, God woke you up this morning, not that you need this day. He said, God woke you up because somebody else needs you to help them.
Okay.
And that resonated with me. Then I got another prayer from my sponsor. She been sponsoring me 41 years. And the prayer was, Alcoholic Anonymous may or may not get me into heaven, but it sure got me out of hell. Thank you.
All right. Thanks for sharing. What's up, Caleb? You want to holler? Okay. So we're talking about choice in the midst of pressure and when life is lifing. So I had a thought that ran across my mind. I told you all about the time I was driving, and so someone wanted to cut me off, and I was determined that they were not going to cut me off. But it was traffic on both sides, and out of nowhere, it was another car that got into this situation, and because I was determined not to let this person cut me off, I kept going, and then all of a sudden I could hear something scraping my car, like something was sticking out on the side of the truck. And I was in the mix of being angry and determined. I didn't change my thought. I didn't think I could press the brake or slow down or whatever. So it cost me a couple $100 later, and I was really trying to find a brick. I literally got out my car in the middle of Manhattan, somewhere on Fifth Avenue, somewhere. And I was like, I'm gonna get a brick. I'm gonna bash this. I'm gonna get him, because they turned the corner and they stopped, and I followed, because somebody's gonna get it. I was looking for a brick. I mean, that's how I was so caught up. Like, when you find a brick laying around in Manhattan, but I was looking for one. And so while I'm looking, it was like, because I seen like a little parking spot, and I was like, I was overlooking. And then I was like, well, let me just walk to the truck. I got to look at him. Just look at him. The look of death or doom or something. So I get toward the truck, and I see that what you call the ticket agent was already there, giving them a ticket. And I was like, damn, the universe already didn't work. Like, here I am over here, sweating, mad, stressed out, pissed off, ready to shoot. And I was going to a casting. When you go for a go-see. So I get to the casting, and I'm still trying to get out a killer character to try and say hi. That was so hard to try to get into the other character. And I was so hyped that I couldn't even find that. I couldn't get to the calm. But I'm in a new place now where I can think another thought, because I got that from one of my invisible mentors. It says, we are equipped with the power to think another thought. And if we can change our thought, we could change the situation. Because recently, someone was trying to cut me off, and for about a split second, I was ready to go toe to toe. And I said, you will not wreck this car not this 2020, whatever it is. You know, I put that brake on real quick. Have your way. Do what you do. And I didn't feel bad of letting them do that in the sense of like, does that make me weak? No, I was wise and I ain't have no scratch on my car. And it's a good to think another thought. Like when you want to, why not sound like I want to beat people up? Like I want to slap somebody. It's like, you got to play the whole tape. Do I slap them? They might try to slap back. And then what's the price to pay? I'm not, oh, we can't run, but it's like, why do this whole thing? Because now I got to pay the price for what I did. Because there's always a consequence with every action. So for me, once again, I think it's good to do something good. That way, when the good things come, I can say, thank God I didn't have to reap from wilding out. So I practice discipline. What you say, Sam? I mean, you know how to just shut up. I can just sit there and be quiet. And I don't have to be angry in being quiet. I'm like, all right, it's all good. And so that's what I do for me. I will think another thought. It's important.
That's why you're Master Rob, master of self.
Working on it every day. Yes, sir. Anybody else?
Yeah, I just wanted to piggyback on what you said, Rob, that I think as we just get older, we should learn to preserve our energy, you know, to pick wisely on what we emphasize on.
Yeah.
And not be so excited. My boy Lev, you know, I have this mantra of just saying, like, I'm not excited. You know, I'm at a point where it's just, there's a finite of things that is going to get me in a place where I don't know, I could even consider losing myself. It has to be vital things that, you know, the essential things pertaining to family, or, you know, like the crucial things. All this first world surface shit is just like, if you're not gonna touch me, what are we talking about? You know, because we are just trying to get home. You know what I mean?
Yep.
We are just trying to get home.
All right, respect. Thank you for sharing. Anybody else want to share an experience? Or
well, I've also learned that a person that wants to argue, I've learned that when like the professor said, when I shut up, they can't argue by themselves. That's the most beautiful thing that I discovered. One of the most beautiful things I discovered in my life. I don't care who it is or where it is or how it happens. If you don't engage in an argument 9 times, that person can come at you hard. You remain silent or cool. I don't care if it's your one wife, girlfriend, if they want to come off, blah, blah, just chill out and watch what they do. They cannot argue by themselves, or they won't argue by themselves. They might keep looking at you and wondering why you ain't saying nothing. I ain't saying nothing because I'm waiting for you I'm trying to show you that you ain't bothering me by hollering and yelling. Go ahead and do it. And after a while, guess what? Ball game.
Winning. Yeah.
Yes.
That is funny because, and it becomes almost comical. I begin to laugh when they're just raging in their veins is popping out because they want to really get you, and you're just like, not today. Not today.
Right.
Not today. So we good. So let's segue. We can always use and go back if you need to. Let's talk about direction and discernment. Do you know where you're going in life? Do you like what life is currently showing you? If not, what do you believe needs to change first? The situation or your perception? So I heard the song in my head, Mahogany. Do you know, or do you know where you're going in life, or do you know where you're going to? And do you like the things that life is showing you? So do you like what life is currently showing you? And if you don't, what do you believe needs to change? So, anybody ready to give us some direction and discernment? Come on, Cliff.
I was gonna say, a lot of people don't understand how much it starts from the inner. You know, it's not even about life in regards to what you're seeing optically. A lot of it is internal. A lot of it is mental and it's spiritual, and it takes a lot of work for you to have to look at things from the inside and get your perspective right, to look at life right in the perspective that it's supposed to be. So it's difficult, man, because a lot of us have a lot of learned things. A lot of us have a lot of just things that I think you mentioned earlier about some like inherited habits and just ways of thinking.
Yep.
So it starts from the inside, just to really be able to look at life and have the information to know where do you even want to go. Like it takes a lot of experience to know what the hell it is that you want to see and want to do. You know, a lot of times we're just not in a place of even knowing what we want, or knowing where, or even understand where we're going. We're just doing shit, you know? So I think it takes a lot of self analyzing and getting in information to know, even if to even know what you're going through, to even understand what you're going through, to even understand what things life can show you. You got to have the information and really look within to really get a grasp of what the hell is going on out here, you know?
Exactly. Thank you for
Rob,
come on.
sorry.
Okay.
Go ahead. Say what you're gonna say. I'll talk afterwards.
No, I was about to do my part, but go ahead on. You can jump on in.
All right. I just want to say this. Yo, I love you guys, but I'm gonna share this because this is something I learned. I had a real nasty argument with my wife years ago. And I called one of my spiritual advisors, which happens to be my sponsor. If you don't know what that is, I'm in a 12-step program. So I was talking about my wife, what she was saying to me, and blah, 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 blah. And you know what my spiritual advisor said? She said, I don't want to hear nothing about her. I just want to know the part you played. And I said, oh my God, I got to look at me.
That part.
So I don't argue because I realized when I start to argue, I get more excited in the argument, and then it makes me think of violence after that. Who you think you're talking to?
Let's see.
You know what I mean? That's my ego coming out. EGO, easing God out. So when I know my ego come up, I know I'm in the wrong place. Thank you.
Thanks for sharing. So we're talking about direction and discernment. Do you like what life is currently showing you? I really do like what life is showing me. I have so many things. Some will call it a testimony. And I see now that, again, even in the conversation we're talking about, it's always the inside job. I'm clear with that now. That's not even a question. It's the inside job, and it ends and begins with me always. And that's part of maturing, just to become accountable and responsible for that. So many things are happening for me right now. I'm writing them down because there will be a time when I share the story, the movie, the whatever it's going to be is unfolding. Some of you know, just from what it's already 26, so in 24, the experience of I call it this, which people look at me like I'm crazy. God gave me the opportunity to learn how to walk again. That sounds strange for some people, but I had the opportunity to learn all over again at this position in life. And that was hella interesting, hella intense in many ways. Thank you, James. Thank you, Caleb and Sam, everybody. And Al, thank you so much for being here. From with just the little steps, step by step. Some of you saw me in the mix of playing that character. That was deep. I had to pause for one because I'll be feeling it. Like as I get full, Al, I'll be feeling it. And so I like what life is showing me. I see people that go through some little things and they're angry right now because of little things. I'm like, you ain't experienced nothing. And not even comparing, but just what I know, and they like gave up already, and it was just a little something simple. So I like what life is showing me, and when I see that I am not in alignment or not in harmony where it's smooth and fluent, I'd have to check me to see what I'm doing or what's got me off kilter. You know how a watch, if a little piece of dust is in there, it can get it off cue and it won't work proper. And we're even more delicate than that. So I've learned that I have to be very mindful of what I'm allowing myself to engage in, guarding my gates, my eyes, my ears, and people. I'm not having just anyone around me. So if you want to think that that makes me think I'm better than, thanks for sharing. That's your thought. They ain't got anything to do with me. That's your thoughts, you're thinking. So I like to have good people around me. Oh, I just looked at the time. My bad. I just noticed the time. So it is important for me to stay where I'm at, enjoying life, and wherever I see that there's some friction or this or comes up, what I can do to make it better and learn from it, but move forward because I like what life is showing me. And there you go. I'm done for now. Quick note: it is. I didn't realize it was 7:53. Maybe I thought it was 30 something. So it's 7:53. So we won't go into the other two questions. But this is a time where we ask: does anyone have a situation that they need to get off their chest? They feel like they might hurt themselves or hurt somebody or say something off the wall. This is your time to share. Perhaps we may be able to share our experience, our strength, and I hope to give you something to go on. Does anyone need to speak now? And if not, I will continue. Does anyone need to take the mic? So I will say that as for now, we will say that we are complete. However, we're never complete because life is ever expanding. So for the moment, if everyone's in a good place, we've had a great conversation tonight. We started out talking about do you believe that you think for yourself? I think we all talked about having some of the different elements, inherited beliefs, cultural programming, and replaying old wounds sometimes. And unexamined thoughts have been an effect, meaning we weren't thinking our own thought. It was something from the past. But I did hear a lot of growth conversations. So we're learning to think for ourselves and leave the old ways and being behind. That comes with self-examination. We talked about taking inventory. Some of us said we take an inventory on a regular basis, not once a day or once a week, but let's start somewhere. If you could take one, that is good. Because I took that one, I said about back in 1900, the year of 1900, I took an inventory, and that was the first time I ever took one, and it changed my life. I still talk about it because it was so major, it was so impactful to really sit down and have to write down about me, the good, the bad, the ugly, all of it, and then know how to look at it and not beat myself up, but learn from it. So that goes again into the self-examination. And then we talked about divine power because we've heard that we were in the image and likeness of the creator. So therefore we possess divinity. The question is, do you use it or are you aware of it? Because a lot of people don't realize that they have power. They allow circumstances and situations to dictate their life when actually you could be, and you are the author, the creator, you are the dictator, you're everything in your own life. Either you know it or you can not know it, but you're still creating your own experiences in life. And we talked about taking or choosing another thought so that we can have a better outcome. That comes with growth, that comes with discipline, and that comes with actually making a choice to be better. And we will close. We did touch on direction and discernment. Direction and discernment. Do you like what life is showing you? And as I wrap up, if you don't like what life is showing you, then do what Michael Jackson said. Look in the mirror and go, make that change. So you can make that change by looking at yourself, starting with the man in the mirror. So I appreciate you guys being on tonight and sharing. So let's now go around and have what we call our closing statement. I want to start with my buddy, Caleb. Give us a closing statement.
Hey, thank you, Mr. Roth, for holding the space. Thank you, brothers, for sharing your honesty. I enjoyed tonight with the scintillating. I'm feeling I learned a lot. Did you hear me?
Yes, loud and clear. We heard you.
You got new Wi-Fi. What's the Wi-Fi?
Oh, okay.
Got it on Wednesday. Yeah.
Okay. Cool. Thank you for sharing. Let's go to Carnell. Unmute yourself.
I just like to say that once again, we have discovered each other and we have learned how each other think, live, and survive. And I'm so glad to listen to all the guys and their thoughts because I learned from each and every one.
Yeah.
And I'm so thankful and grateful. Till next time, God bless us all.
Thank you, sir. Let's go to Gracia. You free to speak real quick and give us your closing statement?
Well, as always, like I said, it's a pleasure to be able to, like Cornell said, learn from each and everybody, get a different perspective, and just being able to tap into a different part of ourselves, being vulnerable, and just being ourselves. So I definitely appreciate that. And I wanted to shout out Cliff. I ain't see you, homeboy, in mad long. What's up, Cliff? How you doing?
What's going on? Long time.
Long time.
Long time no here, brother.
Yeah, man. Good to see you, man.
Likewise, man. You look great, man. It's good to
All
see
right.
you. All right.
All right, so let's go to Sir Albert as Sir Albert, give us your closing statement.
Yeah, I want to thank you, Master Rob, because you have made things spiritually a lot easier in my life. And I want to thank all you guys, especially the young guys. I like to hear them because they ain't nowhere near where I was when I was their age. I tried to be a career criminal and I wind up being a gardener. So if you want to make God laugh, just try planting something. Thank you.
All right. So come on, James, give us a closing statement.
Rob, thank you for the thought-provoking questions. Thank you everyone for sharing. And then Albert, I'm also a gardener too. So I did a community garden for the last couple of years. I just moved, but I'm gonna be doing some garden. I can't wait for the spring to hit. So
yeah. Awesome. All
Okay.
right, let's we call a closing statement. You could say what you got, or you could say good night. Whatever you want to say is up to you. Would you join us with a closing statement, Clifford?
Oh yeah. I appreciate this fellowship a lot. It's right now. It's really crucial for me with things I'm going through personally. To come and just build with some like-minded, thought-provoking brothers. I will be back, and yeah, just appreciate it, man. Everybody have a good weekend.
All right, thank you, Cliff. If it's okay, if Caleb give me your information, I'll make sure you get all the blasts that when we send out. You let him know if it's okay or not. Let's go.
Sure.
All right, cool. Let's go to Professor Sam, and then I think I'll go. I'm not sure if Jerry's still with us.
Brothers, some of you may not remember, but you can Google this. There was a play on Broadway many, many, many years ago. I believe it was in the 60s or the 70s. It was called Big Time Buck White. You can Google it. Big Time Buck White. And it was starring, of all people, Muhammad Ali as Big Time Buck White. He would dress in all white with a cape, And they had this character, one of his followers. And this line, as well, let me put it this way. As I was listening to what was going on and said tonight, it reminded me of a line that one of the characters said about this philosophical character, Big Time Buck White, played by Muhammad Ali. And here was the line. Didn't Big Time put out some good shit tonight?
All right, thank you. So I will do my quick closeout. I'm not, Jerry, are you here with us? If not, we will go in and quickly close out. I'm gonna begin to read my final thoughts. Again, I want to say thank you. And tomorrow we'll be on at 11 o'clock for the liberating power of the divine. And the topic for the lecture is our thoughts. So we're going to get deep into what the word thought represents, from frequency on down to the spiritual meaning and so on and so forth. We're going to go in depth or take a deep dive into thought, because you are your thought, or your experiences are all your thoughts pushed out. On the next note, the closing statement. Kings, remember this: history is not only what happened to us, it is what moves through us right here and right now. Every thought that you choose, every belief that you examine, every time you pause instead of react, you are making history. You do not honor those who came before you by only remembering their names in February. You honor them by thinking freely, walking consciously, and living deliberately. You are not powerless. You are not late. You are not forgotten. You are standing exactly where choice lives. Leave this table knowing the moment you change your mind, and as Master Robert said, when you change your mind, you ask to follow, your life must follow. Walk as a king, think as a king, choose as a king. The table will always be open. Now go and build. Ashe, thank you all for being here. Have an amazing night. Peace.
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 Love you guys. Have a blessed weekend. Say
All right.
something kind to a stranger, please.